Right, let's bring it closer to home now. The deadline for SASSA beneficiaries to swap out their gold cards for the new black Postbank ones has now been extended, initially at the 28th of February, now to the 20th of March. Let's speak more about this with the Deputy Director at Pay the Grants campaign. That's Elizabeth Raiters, who joins us now via our video link. Elizabeth, I hope I pronounced your surname correctly. This is not the first postponement, is it? It does raise questions about whether or not we'll ever get around to this.
Good afternoon, and actually good day to the listeners as well. In actual fact, this is not the first postponement, but it is much needed. It's actually still short, as I think we at least expected a 3-month extension of beneficiaries, so beneficiaries can actually go and apply for the card. I don't know if you guys have been on the ground and you've seen the chaos that's been happening at retailers, where beneficiaries have to spend the whole day from 5 o'clock in the morning until late evening in queues, and they're still not getting assisted, which means the need for people to switch is much higher than what government is making it to be.
Yeah, the process still started in September last year. I have to ask, at least from your reading of the situation, where you reckon things are falling through the cracks?
It did start last year, September, but when it started last year, September, the department actually guaranteed that beneficiaries won't have to rush to exchange the card. They will still receive their funds, their grants into their SASSA gold cards. It's only last week when SASSA actually changed and gave a deadline. So I do think we need more time so we can do this in a more decent way, because I've also had complaints from beneficiaries calling me from all over South Africa, some beneficiaries even having heart attacks while they're waiting in the queues. So I think this is not the way to treat the poor.
Absolutely. We know how many people in this country rely solely on this kind of welfare support to make it through the days. I wonder, though, whether it's worth going back, Elizabeth, to why this switchover needs to happen. I mean, the official word we're getting is that there are security risks associated with the gold card. I'm not sure how much of that you know about, but I mean, what's your sense about what has necessitated this move?
So SASSA did inform us last year about the change because, as you said, it's because of security reasons. Unfortunately, the fraud in SASSA is actually at a very, very high level currently. So they need to curb this fraud, and enhancing the Postbank card to a much better security feature actually helps beneficiaries. But I don't think it still curbs fraud, because it's only the card that's enhanced. So which means any person can still apply, the fraudsters can still apply. So I don't think it really is making a difference.
Yeah, we've heard in the past, for example, of people who've passed on still receiving their grants, and I don't know how changing cards, as you've mentioned, may change that. Nonetheless, I'm not sure if you've seen the statement from government. They're saying that the 20th of March is when the gold cards will stop working. However, people can still receive their money, this time at the Postbank, if they haven't necessarily received their black cards just yet. Now, we know there are so many issues related with the post office, I beg your pardon, and I wonder whether or not you reckon this is a feasible enough solution.
I do not think so. As you know, also a lot of post offices closed in a lot of rural areas. So how are these beneficiaries going to access the post office? I think the department can definitely do better. They can hire, for instance, field workers that will be working in communities and actually assist beneficiaries to actually do the switch in a proper manner.
Part of the requirement for the switch is for the beneficiary themselves to be present. And we know in our country, a lot of the SASSA beneficiaries are people who are in their pension age, so to speak. They're frail in some instances, certainly cannot stand in long queues for a long time. When we spoke to SASSA, they spoke of a process, I think it's called essentially a process where you have somebody admitted as an authority, for example. Do you think enough has been communicated about how to get that right? Because we know in many instances, people typically give their cards to a younger relative, for example, to access this money.
I don't think SASSA's communication is good enough for beneficiaries. Also, some beneficiaries are not aware about this. But you can actually sign a form over and give power of attorney to one of your relatives or a family or friend, and they can actually do the switch and start withdrawing your money. But that's also not safe, especially in a community where I live, where youngsters are actually stealing the money of their grandparents or of their parents. So that is also not even making sure.
Oh, what a pity. Looks like we've lost our connection there to Elizabeth Raiters. She's with the Pay the Grants campaign. We're reflecting, of course, on this deadline that's been extended by government. Initially, SASSA beneficiaries were given until the end of this month to swap up their gold cards for the new black postcards one, or Postbank ones, if you're able to keep up. That deadline has now been moved till the 20th of March, and we'll certainly get you reaction throughout the course of the day from people who are involved in this kind of social welfare to get a sense of whether or not they think this is enough.